Good morning, good afternoon, good evening across the country, around the world. Welcome back to the Kerbal Space Program. I've taken probably about 2 weeks off from Kerbal because Planet Coaster came out and I was distracted with that. I'll get back to Planet Coaster later in the week, I think, but tonight is all about the Kerbal Space Program. I've had a few requests from viewers in the comments, which is great, guys. Please keep the comments coming, keep the likes coming. I'm still new at this, I'm still learning, I'm still growing, etc., etc. But I do deeply appreciate the positive feedback that I'm getting, and I'm happy to answer any questions and receive, positive, well, even either way, receive feedback, positive or negative. I had one person, actually here, I'm going to look it up real quick, who asked to have an internal view of the space station Arcadia. Just got to scroll back here and find that comment and see who it was. It was a while. It was a bit ago. Oh right, it's just looking at on my iPhone here in the thing. It's iPad app gameplays and reviews. It's from 1 week ago, asking, could you please show us an internal overlay of the Arcadia? Yeah, because that was the last episode there for the completion. So we'll go ahead and turn that on. So there it is, it's on. Let's go ahead and aim the camera there and zoom in. We'll pop around to a few different locations and check out the internal overlay views here. So here we got one of the science arms. Some of the Kerbal is now at 1.2.1, and the stock-alike station parts are updated for that. They weren't for a bit, but now they are. So we got the internal views on those. They're not the most fleshed out things. Like, see this guy over here is really minimal. But there's seats and there's walls and there's hatches. What more do you really need? And then these ones here, kind of the same thing. Not a whole lot of terrible amount of detail, but seats and hatches and things. But it's enough to get by, and you can imagine, if the Kerbals were living here, they'd have bunks and they'd personalize it as they see fit. Oh, and here's some of the guys sitting around like the command table up here. Whee! They all look oh so happy. Oh man, who left the docking port open? Yeah. So there's that, one of the science arms, and then of course you can get into and see, come on. You can see into the science labs themselves. Here, let's go ahead and aim the camera at one of them. Oh, this one's apparently, oh nope, there's somebody in there. Yeah, they're in there. So they're sciencing away, or they could be if they had any science, and they don't. Something I do intend to work on in the near future. Unfortunately, I guess the rest of the stock-like, what are these? Pressurized crew tubes do not have internal overlays because there's nothing really to show. It's just a little crawler way in between. And then, oh yeah, this little adapter guy down here. I think this one actually looks kind of cool. Just because of the size of it and the way the windows are and stuff. Yeah, that's got a little more to it too, with like the little wall there and the backing and the things. So there's that. That's one of the science arms. Let's check out the... Is this the habitation arm? Yeah, I think that's the habitation arm. We'll focus in on that real quick. I like the observation modules because it's so open, so many windows, and it's one that's a little bit more finished. And then again, we got, more habitation, same little adapters, again and again. So this space station, I don't even know what it is, but the capacity is something ridiculous. Probably close to 100. If I ever get a mission to expand this space station, well, I doubt I ever will, because the game's going to go, nope, there's too much there already. And, oh, there's one guy up here. So that's the science and habitation modules. We can take a look over here at the docking space dock place thing. I forgot what I called it. So we got the interior overlays for all of these guys for the escape pods, which is, we've all seen that before because those are regular escape pods. The one thing I'll look at over here, whoa, is these guys. These are crew hatches, and they actually carry 2 Kerbals each. They're also the ones that have the little extendable, docking ports. So that's kind of, that's a thing. It's there. Oh gosh, the frame rate right now and the speed of the game is just crawling. I am not looking forward to. I'm going to have to do it because every single one of my Kerbins is on this space station now. But I'm kind of not looking forward to pulling them off of this space station. I think I'm going to pull off kind of the bare minimum for right now. I have one mission that requires that it be manned, and that's to go to a station at Minmus. And that requires that I have 3 pilots on board, which is a little annoying. Can we not? It's being messy with me. There we go. Okay, aim camera over here. This thing's not going to go away. And this is the same. There's no real internal view for all of these smaller parts, because they're the same. Like I said, the crew things. Then we have the escape pods again. I forgot what I was saying before. I'm going to watch this later when I'm editing this and go, "You were saying that, dummy," and I apologize. Can I get rid of you guys? No. Okay. Oh, okay, good. And then can I click here? And then we'll just take a look at the main hub here. It's a lot like the habitation core, where you got these guys, the observation module, the planetary octo aperture, and then down here, I mean, this here is the actual quote core that's got the probe core and things like that, and it's got some electrical charge and got other things. It kind of was a base to get things started for this station. And then again, more of those habitation modules, little converter, and then a stock cupola module. So there's that for the person who asked for the internal overlay. I will be responding to that comment and saying, "Hey, I did it! Check it out!" So that they know I satisfied that request. I've also had a few people requesting lately for mod lists. I think that those were actually posted to earlier episodes, somewhere around like 12 or 13, or maybe even earlier. But I have added some mods to it. Most recently, this guy, MacJab. So we're going to pop out to a screenshot of what I have installed, and I will talk about that in a voiceover. I'll actually be recording that later. So we'll go over the mods right now. Alright, so mods. I got that screenshot up for you. I'm actually looking at it in real time on the page, because that way I can pop into folders and understand what's going on. So the first one, Baja SP, that's for mini AVC. That's a utility that helps, I think, link things together. It checks apps as the game is loading, or checks the mods as the game is loading and makes sure they are up to date. As it sees a new one, it says, "Oh, you want me to check on this one?" "Yes, please." And it helps keep things running. Better burn time, that gets you the counter at the bottom there as time ticks down to help you initiate your burns at the right time instead of guesstimating. Takes the kind of the guesstimation work out of that. Community Resource Pack. This is one that is utilized with, I think, Universal Storage and a few others. In case you do use oxygen and water and things like that. This is a thing that'll help you with that, and also other things. If you were to use carbonite and other mods that let you extract different minerals and whatnot, like I'm looking inside of it, and there's alumina, argon, carbon dioxide, dirt, exotic minerals, gypsum, hydrates, intake liquid, carbonite, carborundum, liquid H3, liquid hydrogen, metallic ore, minerals, monazite, oxygen, rare metals, silicates, substrate, uraninite, interesting, and then water and xenon gas. So this is a way to, it's just an asset to help manage some of those other things. I think it's, Universal Storage is dependent on that. Diazo, inside there is, oh, I got rid of this one. I don't know why it's still there. That was for the expanded command groups, I think. I deleted that. I don't know why it's still listed there. I should just, yeah. D-Magic Orbital Science, of course, is all the wonderful science that D-Magic gives you, like the magnetometer boom and the solar particle collector and all those things. D-Magic Utilities is things that support that. Ooh, part of that is Capcom, which is a great thing, which is that thing I pull up wherever I am and I can look at contracts in bigger detail than what the stock game gives me. So that's really cool to have. There's other parts in there that are for contracts and to track the progress of those things that are all dependencies for orbital science. Environmental visual enhancements, that's what gives me the clouds and the better landmark, not better landmarks, I'm sorry, but the city lights and the city sprawl that are kind of hazy off in the distance. Kerbal joint reinforcement. I know we have auto strutting, but I still use Kerbal joint reinforcement just because it helps flesh things out a lot more. It makes things a lot more stable. MechJeb 2, that's all those wonderful utilities like Delta V calculations, orbital information, maneuver planner, rover autopilot, all those things. I just got it back, and I'm really excited to have it. It's actually only a dev build. It's not fully released. I think from what I've seen on Reddit, there has been some drama with the developer or with somebody calling him out. I do not know, but the developer has not re-released it in a full version that really supports 1.2 or 1.2.1. But it works in the dev build, so I'm happy to take that and run with it. Navy Fish plugins. Oh, that's for the docking port alignment. That things that lets you get, the docking ports lined up like I used for the Arcadia to make sure they were up and down correctly. Near future props, that is a dependent for the, buttons, fonts, food, for the station parts expansion, which is down below a little bit. That is a resource that thing uses. Planet Shine, that's a way to increase the ambient light in the background so that you're not, if you're on the dark side of the planet and you can't see the sun, that way it's not in pitch blackness. That's useful for YouTube because it just brightens things, makes it easier for you guys to see it when it's there. Next we have ScanSat, and we've gone through that one a lot. That's, the extra utilities that let you scan the whole planet, and you get a nice map, and you can look at things, you can find anomalies. That's really useful. It helps you plan out landings and all kinds of things. Scatterer, that's another visual mod that just scatters the atmosphere, kind of makes it look a little more realistic. Squad, of course, the makers of Kerbal Space Program, that's got all their stuff in it, all the stock things, all the vanilla things. Station parts expansion below that, that's all those big parts that let the Space Station Arcadia be what I think the gloriousness that it is. That really lets it be. I really like those parts. It really enhances the look and feel of space stations. Otherwise, the stuff that you're stuck with at the 2.5 meter, it's just kind of wimpy. But this makes it look, I love it. Stock visual enhancements, that's partnered with the environmental visual enhancements up above that does, again, clouds and things like that. Trigger tech below that, the Kerbal alarm clock. We'll play with that in a little bit. That's how you set, alarms for transfer windows, for influence windows, all those things like that. Very useful to have that. Universal storage. This is the one that's currently not actually updated. I had to manually download it. No, I have to approve the game. Every time I start the game, it says, "Oh, this is not approved." I know, okay, and it still works. It's okay. But that's what I don't actually use much of the universal storage things in and of itself, but I like universal storage because D-Magic Orbital Science has bits that fit in universal storage, and it just makes things nice and compact. It's those little hatches, the black and white hatches that pop open. It just makes everything much, much smoother. Module Manager and everything else down below that. These help manage all of the mods and all of the modules. It helps make sure that they don't conflict. It patches things. It makes everything happy. It just makes everything click and smooth and run together. And that's a very nice thing to have as well because, hey, you want everything to run. I believe that's it for the mods. There might be one or two that are in the game. I feel like there's one or two that are there that I see that I'm not having here. I don't think that's possible because what's listed here is what's supposed to be in the game. So maybe not. Maybe I'm just crazy. So that's the mods we have. Now we'll jump back into the game. And now that we're done talking about mods, looking at all the wonderfulness that mods will bring us, we are going to now look at what I wanted to do this series for, getting to Eve. I've never been to Eve in the game. I've been to Duna. I think I've sent a probe to Eve in my last series. I can't really remember. But we are, come on, mouse wheel, cooperate. I need a new mouse. We are going to be going to Eve. Boop, right there. Eve, of course, is one planet. It has an atmosphere. It's a very thick, dense atmosphere. And the gravity here is a bit heavier than at Kerbal. Let's see, what does this talk about? Gravity? 12 meters. Oh, yeah, there it is. So at sea level, it's 1.7 gravity. So the struggle with Eve is not necessarily getting there. It's the coming back. It's the leaving. So that's why I'm really happy I got MechJeb back, because that's going to help us with thrust to weight ratios, because when you're building something with MechJeb, you can switch it to look at Eve's thrust to weight ratio, and that'll let you know how that's going to do. Wow. I haven't looked at Eve in a long time. It's really pretty, and I think this is because of the stock visual enhancements, that it looks purple and green, and it has this weather band up here. It's neat looking. But anyway, I've got ideas for how/what to launch to Eve. The question now is when. When can we launch to Eve? So, hello, Kerbal alarm clock. Add. There we go. Transfer window. Transfer parent. Yes, the sun. Origin. No, we're going to go with Kerbin. We're going to look for Eve. It's in 1 day. It's in 1 day. So that must mean that we are like lined up sweet to transfer. Let's take a look at it. Where are we? Where is Eve? We must be, yeah, okay. So we are, yep, we are just, I think if you put like Eve 90 degrees off the sun, Kerbin should be just up and a little to the left. That way you depart from here and you burn and you pop down and intercept Eve as it orbits faster than Kerbin around the sun, and you catch up. It catches up to you. I have to do the research to determine the actual burn parameters at Kerbin. Yeah, so we're not going to actually burn for Eve like in a day, because I have to build the things, possibly assemble them in orbit. I'm not sure yet. I am not sure yet. So we're gonna go ahead and blow past this real quick. Quick save? Nothing to quick save. That's okay. So we're gonna okay, come on, even more. We're gonna let this disappear. Alright, so now it is in a year and so it's in almost 2 years. That's fine, because, you know, as a space program goes, you need time to design, to plan, to make these things happen. We also have a couple missions to go to Duna, or to send some things to Duna. Ooh, and there's a service outpost one for Duna. Although, I don't really think I need to do that. 5, ISRU, ooh, stability. Oh, that's not that bad a thing. What's the reward? Pretty good, the advance is decent. I don't think so, though. Or an orbital survey of Duna. Here we go. What is this? No, wait. I'm sorry. Orbital survey of Eve. Plasma from low orbit, high orbit, radiant. Oh, wow. That's a lot of things. I mean, I'll probably end up doing them. What's the payout? Oh, wow. You know what? We're going to take that, and I will make it work. I'm not going to expand the solar space stations, because those are going to be hard to get to. Yes, decline. Everything else, no. I don't really want to do too much Duna. I'll send, I think I have 1 or 2, yeah, an orbital and a couple of satellites in specific orbits of Duna. So we'll take care of those as well when the time comes. Otherwise, we've got magnetic survey around Eve, The big orbital, that's one I just accepted. I have an orbital, okay, so I only have a few for Eve. I don't have anything for Gilly? Oh, that's too bad. Maybe those will pop up as the time comes. Anyway, we're going to add an alarm for Eve, and hey, I wasn't done. And, oh, no, there we go. We're going to add one for Duna as well. So, yeah, Duna's going to come a little bit, 80 days sooner than Eve. But we're just launching a couple of satellites to Duna, so that should be easy peasy lemon squeezy. So we got those set up in the Kerbal alarm clock. That should make life a bit easier. In the meantime, let's see. I think I am going to design the Eve ships. I think my plan right now, and this is just spitballing from today while I was at work thinking about it, I think I'm going to launch 2 vessels to Eve. One that's the main vessel that has a command module, a science module, fuel, and then some other things attached. We'll get back to that in a minute. The other one, of course, is going to be the lander, because I think I don't have a mission to land there, right? Minmus, Duna, Minmus, Eve. Magnetic field. So I don't have one to land there, at least not yet. I might get one in the future. But why wouldn't you want to land there and take a crew report from the surface and take a surface sample and all those things that the crew can take, because they're worth the most science. At this point, we're almost done sciencing things. We only need, that's 1,000. We need about 4,000, a little more than 4,000 science to finish out the tree. And I might get a lot of that if I do any more missions to Minmus, which I could, because I do want to try to fill up the science on board the Arcadia. Speaking of science, we're going to need more peoples. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and take all the scientists we can get now. Oh, they just keep getting more and more expensive. Anyway, 2 ships. Sorry, I keep getting distracted. 2 vessels to Eve. The lander, and that's going to have, like I said, just a landing capsule. I'm just going to send 3 people down. A pilot, a scientist, and an engineer, just so that they can fix whatever, and scientists recover things. It's going to be something similar to, like, The Martian, where it lands and has a big old base, and then just the top part launches off because it's lighter and easier. And that way I can deal with the thrust weight issues and hopefully get it back into orbit around Eve and meet up with the main ship. The other ship, when I've gone to Duna before, I know I'm just talking, and it's just talking looking at this. I'm sorry, it's not terribly dynamically exciting. But when I've gone to Duna before, I've sent a lander and a couple rovers and drove around and hit up a bunch of biomes. This time I want to try something a little different. The main vessel that I'm going to have is going to have, like I said, the command module, science module, power and RCS, and then fuel and a rocket at the back. On the sides, I was going to mount 2 cargo pods. I'm thinking Mark II because they're kind of just cool looking. But 2 Mark II cargo pods. And I'm going to have landers, little probe landers inside each of those, like 2 on each side, and then more fuel and rockets on the back. And then when we're done with that, we can ditch the rockets and then ditch the cargo pods, because who needs that if there's no more probes in there? But I think I want to do 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4 little lander probes for Eve. That way I can land 3 of them in different biomes, and then land the 4th one maybe in the ocean. The thing with Eve is that there is water there. It's a planet that has water to it. So that makes things a little more complicated. Oh, come on. I mean, you can't see it here. Yeah, you really can't tell too much here. I mean, this all looks pretty bland. I think I see... No, that's just stitching in the way the graphics are coming together. But anyway, there is land on Eve, and there is water on Eve. So that can be a problem when it comes to landing things, because you want to be able to land on the ground most of the time. And then, I'll take one on the water. Oh, okay, here. I think I can just see it. See this outline here? I think this is land and this is water? Question mark? I'm not sure. Once we get there, we'll have the CurbNet access, And we'll also probably, I'll probably send up also a ScanSat satellite along with all this. And we'll let that do its thing, scan it before we choose where to go so that we have the ScanSat data to look at. So that's for the future. That'll be in an episode or two. Like I said, I need more money. Honestly, that's the problem. We are here in career mode, and there's only so much I can do. I don't really want all of these Duna things. I can suffer to lose a little bit of reputation. I have a station around the moon. I don't want to build another one. Atmospheric? No. Biological? Space flight? Multispectral? Oh, those are at a certain point. Ugh. No. Ike. Extract core. Oh, there we go. See, I can do this. Satellites are easy. So I'm going to go through and possibly burn up a little bit of reputation and take on some more missions that are just lucrative. Because I can do satellite mission. I've trimmed that down, and it's really easy. Especially now that I have MechJeb to look at delta V calculations. I can look at the orbit of that upcoming mission right now, and I can tailor the satellite and chop out pieces and things like that, and it's much easier. Oh yeah, see, that's easy. Oh, does it have to be geostationary? Curlington. Oh, it might be a geostationary orbit. I didn't even read the thing that much. Active. Yep, it is. That's fine. Those are easy. We've done that before. We've already got one in a geostationary orbit somewhere above a spot, so I can do that on my own off camera as long as I earn some more Kerbal Space bucks. Either way, I think that's about it for this episode. Sorry, this was a lot of exposition, a lot of talking, not a whole lot of action. I think I have to launch a shuttle mission up to the Arcadia to catch the guys there. I think that's what I was talking about earlier when I lost track of things. I'm not looking forward to docking with the Arcadia because the frame rate is so low and the performance is fairly low as well. But I need my pilots back. And I think we will, I think I'll also show the Minmus. Oh, geez, we got a bunch of, see, explore Minmus. Dock 2 vessels on or around Minmus. So that's, that's 100,000, and it doesn't, when does it expire? It doesn't expire. I've docked vessels. I think it wants you to dock 2 separate vessels. So I might take care of that. I think we might do, like, these 3 missions in one of the next episodes. And then after that, we'll build and launch stuff into space to prepare for going to Eve. Unfortunately, like I said, we do have nearly 2 years before things are ready to go there. But we can go ahead and send up the satellites that are going to be ready to do stuff for Duna and for Eve. And then we can launch the big vessels as we get closer. Again, I apologize, this wasn't that exciting an episode, but now that I'm back, I needed to kind of do this just to get things together, partly for myself, so that it makes sense in my own head. But that'll be it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. If you like, hit subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, pass the word. I will catch you later.